This Thursday morning, everyone, we are in Psalm 25 in our Bible reading plan here at First Baptist Church. This is Pastor Steve, and I thank you for not only reading God's Word with us, but joining me for this daily devotion, whether you're listening to the podcast or watching the video. Psalm 25, I hope you've already read this chapter and written in your journal what God has said to you. When I was reading this, what I wrote in my journal is that David really does understand that life has challenges, choices, temptation, sin, and I think he gives us some insights into how to live well as someone who loves the Lord, how to overcome all of these obstacles. I think what he teaches us here is that the key to overcoming and living godly and living well for the Lord, really the key to it is the quality of our relationship with God himself. That how much effort you put into your relationship with Jesus will shape how successful you are in dealing with the obstacles you face in life, the temptations and the struggles that come in life. I want you to notice, this is the phrase that stood out to me in verse 3 of chapter 25. He said, "Indeed, none of those who wait for the Lord will be ashamed." That little phrase, those three words, wait for the Lord. Wait for the Lord. Some translations may say hope for or hope in the Lord. The word wait there is not just passively waiting. The Hebrew word translated wait or hope in our English Bibles here has both ideas, wait and hope, associated with it. It's the idea that we are waiting with anticipation. We are waiting with expectation. We are eagerly waiting, looking for. So it's a patience, but not passive. It's not hopeless. It's a patience that says something good's coming. There's an expectation, there's an eagerness associated with it. And so we wait even if our current circumstances are negative. Now, what's interesting to me is that in Psalm 25, that phrase, wait for the Lord, occurs 3 times. You also see it in verse 5 and in verse 21. So that's a theme in Psalm 25, waiting eagerly with expectation and hope and anticipation for the Lord. So in the midst of my current circumstances, when they're hard, when they're negative, when they're bad, when they're tough, when it's discouraging, I don't quit. I don't quit. And I don't give up on Jesus. And I don't give up on the church. I wait. I hang in there. Not hopeless and helpless, but with expectation, with faith. I stay with it with faith. He says the same thing in some different ways in Psalm 25. In verse 1, he says, "In you I trust." Well, how do we show our trust in God through challenging times? By staying with God, being faithful to God. Verse 15, "My eyes are continually toward the Lord." Even in the hard moments, he keeps looking to God. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep looking for him. Verses 12 and 14, he talks about having fear or reverence for the Lord. So all of this, David is saying, through whatever circumstances I incur in life, my focus stays on God. And I remain optimistic, and I keep the faith, and I trust him. And then in this Psalm 25, he mentions results. In verses 2 and 3, I will not be ashamed. In verse 4, I will know his ways. He will teach me his path. In verse 5, he will lead me. In verse 15, he will pluck my feet out of the net. And in verse 21, he says, let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you. When I wait for God, I don't sacrifice my integrity and my character and my uprightness and my godliness. So many people who know the Lord go through a hard time and in the midst of it give up on the Lord Oh, they still claim to know Him and love Him, but they live in sin because they're not willing to wait for God to come through. You know what godly living does? Honors God, and it keeps you from making a mess of your life. It keeps you from making bad things worse. I say it over and over. I am so thankful for our Bible reading plan and our D group ministry here at First Baptist Rock Hill. And I'm so glad you're participating in our Bible reading plan. And if you're in a D group, that you're part of that. I know God is working in your life. God bless you. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow.